Hello everyone. Today I'll continue sharing the story of a girl named Sam. Hope you enjoy the video. Ever since Lee found out Sam was pregnant, it was as if he turned into a different person. He was still the tough man shaped by years of experience, still the serious police officer used to facing danger every day. But whenever he was beside Sam, he became unbelievably gentle. Every morning before going to work, he would stop by early, place a warm breakfast on the table, and softly ask, "Sam, are you craving anything today? Or do you feel tired anywhere?" Sam usually shook her head with a shy little smile. "I'm fine, you don't have to worry so much." But no matter what she said, Lee always paid attention to every little detail. The moment he saw her standing up a bit slowly, he would step forward to support her. If she sat for too long without eating, he would patiently coax her to eat, one bite at a time. Sometimes she would laugh. "I'm pregnant, not injured. If you take care of me this much, I'm afraid you'll be exhausted soon." Lee only replied with one short sentence. Yet it was enough to melt her heart. "As long as you and the baby are healthy." Every evening after work, even when he was tired enough to collapse, he still rushed to her house. Some days he walked in, took off his jacket, washed his hands, and headed straight to the kitchen. "What do you want to eat tonight, Sam?" "I'll cook." She was stunned. Officer Lee rarely cooked before, yet now he secretly watched tutorial videos and practiced simple dishes, just so she wouldn't have to go out in the cold. Some nights Sam was tired, resting her head on his shoulder, eyes slowly closing. Lee gently squeezed her hand. "Sleep. I'm right here." She didn't even realize when she fell asleep, and Lee just quietly watched her small, peaceful face, occasionally placing a hand over her belly, feeling the two heartbeats breathing together. He never thought he would crave a family someday. But from the moment she got pregnant, every thought in his mind revolved around Sam and the little life growing inside her. No matter how busy he was, no matter how suffocating the pressure at work became, the moment he opened the door and saw Sam, all his exhaustion disappeared. He knew this was the place he wanted to return to every night. Sam felt happiness blooming inside her from the way Lee cared for her. It was a kind of affection she had never received before. Her entire youth had been about standing on her own, carrying her own pain, healing herself. When she was sick, she cooked her own porridge. When she was sad, she hugged herself and cried. On gloomy days, no one ever asked her a simple question. "Are you okay?" But now, every morning when she opened her eyes, she had a message waiting. "Are you awake? I bought breakfast for you." Every evening when she turned on the living room light, she saw Lee sitting on the sofa waiting, a bag of fruit on the table and a warm bottle of milk beside it. One time while she was washing dishes, she suddenly noticed Lee standing behind her, gently handing her a pair of gloves. "The water's cold. Wear these so your hands won't hurt." It was such a small gesture, but it made her eyes sting. She wasn't used to being loved, even less to being cared for so thoughtfully. That night, while Lee sat beside her with his hand resting on her belly, a new habit of his, Sam murmured, "You treat me so well. I don't know if I deserve it." Lee turned to her, his voice low and firm. "There's only one thing you need to know. You and our baby deserve every good thing. I'll take care of the rest." Sam suddenly felt like crying, not because she was sad, but because for the first time in her life she truly felt protected. She leaned her head on his shoulder, gripping his shirt softly as if afraid to lose this warmth. "Thank you, truly thank you, Lee." He only smiled, wrapping his arm around her shoulders, his voice gentle as a breeze. "You don't need to thank me. From now on, I'll look after you and our baby for the rest of my life." And in that moment Sam knew this was the happiness she had never dared to dream of. That evening, the fresh air after the rain left a thin mist along the small alley in front of Sam's house. She had just finished showering, her damp hair falling softly over her shoulders, when her phone lit up. Lee's message was short, but unusually so. Come downstairs for a moment. I have something to tell you. Sam's heart tightened. She didn't understand why she suddenly felt so nervous. Normally, Lee would come up and knock on her door. He rarely ever asked her to come down at this hour. She hurriedly put on a light jacket and went downstairs. And the moment she stepped onto the front steps, she froze. Before her, the entire little courtyard had been transformed into an impossibly romantic scene. Cream-colored paper lanterns were hung along the fence, their warm light blending together softly, glowing like fallen stars scattered across the ground. White baby's breath flowers lined a path leading to the center of the yard. The night breeze brushed past gently, swaying the lanterns and creating a tender, warm atmosphere that made her heart tremble. Officer Lee stood at the end of that flower-lined path. He was wearing a clean white shirt, hands tucked lightly in his pockets, his eyes on her, so soft that Sam felt she might cry on the spot. The strong man who always stood between danger and others was now standing there just to wait for her to walk toward him. "Sam!" he called very softly, but the deep tone made her heart skip. She walked forward step by step, hardly believing her eyes. When she was only a few paces away, she stammered, What are you doing? Why did you prepare all this?" Lee didn't answer right away. He stepped closer, his hand trembling. Something Sam rarely saw in a man who stayed calm in every situation. Then he opened his palm, revealing a small red velvet box glowing under the lantern light. Sam's heart dropped. "Sam," he began, voice low but steady, "I'm not good at saying romantic things. My life has always been filled with danger, pressure, and loss. But since the day I met you, everything changed." She looked up at him, her eyes already glistening, and he continued, each word carving itself into the night. "You give me a peace I lost long ago. You make me want to come home every night, want to try harder every day. And when I learned you were pregnant, I realized I didn't want to just stand beside you. I want to be the one you rely on." Then, before her stunned eyes, he knelt down. The ring caught the lantern light, reflecting the sincerity in his gaze. "Sam, will you marry me?" She covered her mouth as tears spilled out, warm and uncontrollable. She couldn't speak for several seconds, not because she was shocked, but because she was overwhelmed. No one had ever prepared anything for her. No one had ever treated her with the tenderness Lee was showing now. No one had ever held her hand and said, "I want to walk with you for the rest of my life." But tonight, the man in front of her was doing exactly that. She broke down crying, nodding over and over, her voice trembling. I will. Lee, I will." Lee exhaled deeply, relief washing over him as a rare, warm smile bloomed on his face, the kind that could melt the coldest night. He stood, held her hand, and gently slipped the ring onto her finger. Sam trembled as he pulled her into his arms. She pressed her face to his chest, her voice fragile and dissolving. "I never thought this day would come. Never thought I was deserving of it." Lee held her tight, his hand stroking her back. "You don't have to deserve anything. Just be yourself. I'll take care of everything else. From now on, you're not alone anymore." She cried like rain, but they were tears of happiness, pure and overwhelming. That night, under the glow of golden lanterns, surrounded by the soft scent of flowers and the first cool winds of the season, Officer Lee and Sam held each other for a long, unforgettable moment. One she knew she would cherish for the rest of her life. After Sam accepted the proposal, Lee didn't let go of her hand even once for the rest of the night. He brought her inside, made her a warm glass of milk, and said gently, "Tomorrow let's tell everyone. I want the world to know you're my fiancé." Sam felt her heart tremble with warmth. She had never imagined someone calling her by that tender title, fiancé. The next morning, Lee woke up early. He prepared breakfast himself, bread and eggs, Sam's favorite, and placed it in front of her as she walked sleepily into the living room. "Eat up, okay? We're meeting Aunt Yuyan, then my colleagues." Sam paused, her fingers tightening around the ring on her fourth finger. Happiness rose in her chest again, almost making her cry. The first person they visited was Aunt Yuyan, the one who loved Sam like her own daughter. When she saw them at the door, she was about to speak, but Lee gently held Sam's hand and bowed slightly. "Auntie, please allow me to speak first. I want to marry Sam. I'll take care of her and the baby for the rest of my life." Aunt Yuyan looked down at Sam's trembling hand, then at the ring glistening on her finger. She lifted a hand to her mouth, overwhelmed. Oh heavens, finally someone truly loves this child. She walked forward and hugged Sam tightly, patting her back. "You deserve to be happy. I'm so glad for you." Sam could only nod, tears falling onto Aunt Yuyan's shoulder. For the first time in her life, she felt genuinely blessed. Not pitied, not treated like a burden. Just loved. After leaving Aunt Yuyan's house, Lee took Sam to the police station. The moment they entered, his colleagues, who were used to his serious stoic nature, saw him holding Sam's hand and all widened their eyes. One close teammate teased, "Wow, Captain Lee looks different today. Got some good news." Lee didn't answer immediately. Instead, he raised Sam's hand slightly, letting everyone see the ring. The room erupted. "No way. You're engaged. For real?" Sam said yes, for real. Sam turned bright red while Lee simply smiled, a rare sight his co-workers barely ever saw. He introduced her proudly. "This is my fiancée, and the mother of my child." The room buzzed with surprise and joy. Someone joked, "First time I've ever seen him show off his happiness." Sam stood beside him, heart racing but filled with warmth. She got to see the man who was always stern, always composed, openly holding her hand in front of everyone. Not hiding, not hesitating, but proudly claiming her. As they walked out, Lee tightened his grip on her hand, his thumb gently brushing her skin. "I want the whole world to know you're the one I choose." Sam leaned against his shoulder, her voice trembling. "I never thought a day like this would come. Never thought someone would be proud of me like that." Lee bent down and placed a soft kiss on her forehead. "From now on, your only job is to be happy." And on that sunlit morning, too, Sam felt it deep in her heart. She was truly no longer alone. That afternoon, after leaving the police station, Lee took Sam to a small, quiet restaurant for lunch. As Sam ate, she kept glancing at the ring on her finger, occasionally smiling to herself. Lee watched her in silence, his gaze so soft that anyone could see just how happy he was. When they arrived back at her home, Lee didn't let her go upstairs to rest right away. He held her hand and said gently but with meaning, "Wait for me a moment. There's something I want you to see." Sam tilted her head in confusion, but followed him to the second floor of the apartment Lee had recently rented. The door at the end of the hallway was covered by a white curtain. Lee stood in front of it, turning toward Sam with an expression full of nervous anticipation, almost like the moment he proposed to her the night before. He lifted the curtain and pushed open the door. Sam froze. A completely new room appeared before her. The main colors were soft pastels, mint, cream, and white, creating a peaceful, calming atmosphere. The main wall was decorated with clouds and twinkling stars. In the corner stood a small oak crib, with a delicate wind chime hanging from its rail that made a soft tinkling sound whenever the breeze passed. By the window sat a rocking chair meant for a mother to lull her baby to sleep. A changing table, neatly arranged boxes for baby supplies, and even a tiny wardrobe filled with tiny cream-colored clothes had already been placed inside. Sam lifted a hand to her mouth, eyes widening as tears welled up in disbelief. "Lee, when did you do all of this?" Lee walked toward her, his voice low and sincere. "Since the day I learned you were pregnant. I've been preparing it. But I didn't want to tell you too soon. I was afraid you'd worry, afraid you'd think I was pressuring you. I just wanted the baby to have a safe place. And I wanted you to know you're not alone anymore." Sam turned to him, tears already filling her eyes. She stepped inside, touching the crib rail, then brushing her fingers against the soft rug under her feet. Everything was brand new, spotless, and chosen with care. Every tiny detail. Nothing was random. This was the preparation of a man who had thought long and deeply, and loved deeply. "I never thought someone would ever do something like this for me," she whispered through a trembling voice. Lee wrapped his arms around her from behind, his hands settling softly over her belly as if afraid to hurt her. "I did it because you deserve it, because the baby needs a family, and because I want to see both of you living in peace." Sam turned around, burying her face in his chest as she cried like a child. Not out of sadness, but because for the first time in her life, she felt that she and her baby were truly loved. Lee pressed a kiss onto her hair, his deep voice filling the sunlit room. "Sam, this is your home now, and our baby's home. From now on, I'll take care of everything. You just need to be happy." In his arms, Sam knew with certainty this happiness was real, and she was no longer alone in the world. The days that followed were filled with a peace Sam had never known. In the mornings, Lee took her to prenatal checkups. In the evenings, he cooked her light meals, and they would sit together on the rocking chair in the baby's room, talking about the future. On one such evening, just as dusk settled and the last rays of sunlight made the cloud patterns on the wall shimmer, Sam leaned back in the rocking chair, her hand resting on her belly as it had become her habit. Lee walked in from the kitchen carrying a warm glass of water. "Drink a little, okay? The doctor said you need to stay hydrated." He placed the cup gently in her hands, unable to hide the familiar worry in his tone. Sam smiled and was about to reply when she suddenly stopped, a faint sensation like something rolling lightly beneath her skin, followed by a tiny nudge from inside her belly. Soft, subtle, but so distinct that Sam gasped. "Lee! Lee!" she stammered, her voice trembling with shock. He immediately knelt in front of her, panicked. "What is it? Are you hurting? Do you feel sick?" But Sam shook her head quickly, eyes wide, lips trembling. "No, the baby. I think the baby just kicked." In an instant, every trace of the stern, experienced police officer vanished. Lee froze for a moment, then hurriedly placed his large hand on her belly, as lightly as if he were afraid of startling the baby. "Here? Right here," he whispered. Both of them held their breath. Then, another tiny kick, light as a butterfly touching a flower. This time even clearer. Lee exhaled sharply, his eyes widening as his hand trembled. "Oh my God," he whispered, voice thick with emotion. "The baby really kicked?" Sam laughed through her tears, nodding over and over. "Yeah, the baby's saying hi to you." Like a child witnessing a miracle, Lee leaned in closer, pressing his ear gently to her belly. He said nothing, simply held his hand where he felt the tiny movement moments earlier. After a while, he squeezed Sam's hand, his eyes glistening with tears he tried not to let fall. "Sam." "Yes? Since my dad passed away, I thought I'd never have a family again, that no one would ever call me Dad. I never expected." His voice broke completely, but he forced himself to continue, pouring everything he felt into each word. "The baby is really here. And I'm really going to be a father." Sam cupped his cheek, stroking gently in comfort, but Lee lowered his head and pressed a long, tender kiss onto her belly, slow and reverent, as if pouring all his love into the tiny life growing inside. "Be good, little one. Daddy's here." When he lifted his head, Sam saw his eyes were truly red, a sight she knew she would never forget. She smiled softly, her voice barely above a whisper. "The baby and I are so lucky to have you." Lee pulled her into a tight embrace, placing his hand over her belly again as if he couldn't let go. "No, I'm the lucky one." And in that room bathed in golden sunset light, surrounded by peace, warmth, and hope, Lee and two Sam shared their first sacred moment with their baby. A moment that confirmed one thing beyond doubt. They were already a family.
Xin chào mọi người, rất vui được gặp lại mọi người trong video hôm nay của mình. Chúc mọi người có một ngày làm việc tràn đầy năng lượng và hiệu quả. Video hôm nay kể về câu chuyện của tự Sam và cảnh sát Lee. Sau khi biết tự Sam có thai thì cảnh sát Lee đã cầu hôn tự Sam và hứa cho cô một cuộc sống hạnh phúc. Liệu rằng đám cưới của họ sẽ diễn ra như thế nào và cuộc sống của tự Sam sẽ thay đổi ra sao sau khi lấy cảnh sát Lee, thì mọi người cùng đón xem ở video tiếp theo nha. Cảm ơn mọi người đã xem hết video hôm nay của mình. Hy vọng rằng mọi người sẽ yêu thích những video của mình và ủng hộ kênh của mình trong thời gian sắp tới. Cảm ơn mọi người và hẹn gặp lại mọi người ở video lần sau. Nhớ để lại cho mình một nhận xét dưới phần bình luận để mình có động lực làm nhiều video hơn nha. Xin chào mọi người.